Rewind BS and Back Talk Radio every Tuesday night. Hey, join us this coming Tuesday at 9 o'clock p.m. from 9 to 11. But hey, tonight we are here with Championship Online Racing Association. I can't even get my notes straightened out here, Harrison. But I tell you what, a little short track action here tonight. Late model cars at Richmond Speedway, 3/4 mile track. And this ought to be quite the night here under the lights.
Yeah, Cora tends to go different, very interesting car and track combinations. This week we find ourselves short track racing, as you said, with the late model to 150 laps around Richmond, which sounds like a lot, but they can go fast, especially in green runs. So we've got a big field here, and the championship picture, as usual, is pretty close, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see who can handle this combination the best.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, let's take them down through the points and let everybody know who's who and who's where here with Cora, Championship Online Racing Association's Sunday Money Series. Dallas Markle still holding down the top spot up there. He's 23 points out in front of Dale Smalley. Dale Smalley down a position this week after, not just last week, but the week before. He's sitting 23 behind Dallas Markle. Michael Churchman, no movement in the last couple of weeks. He sits in third, 47 in back of Dallas Markle. Gary Bauer up a notch this week. He sits in fourth, 98 behind Dallas Markle. And Harrison, Sean Dewar up a position this week, making some headway, 133 behind the leader.
Yeah, looking back in the second half of the top 12, in sixth, we've got Galen Gibman, who's someone to look out for because he's fastest in practice right now by a decent margin. Nathan Sedlick is seventh in points. We've got Jay Anderson in eighth, followed by Garrett Denton, Everett Lane, Ben Manning, and Mark Montanari rounds out the top 12.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, if you haven't heard of Sunday Money Series here, Cora, this is a deal. They qualify a couple times a week, and you qualify in for a shot at a trip to the bank here with the Sunday Money Series. 10 payout positions, actually 12 payout positions. First through 10th place, then there's a pole award for $5, and then a safety award. You'll be able to finish the race without a scratch. Then you get a $5 bonus check from these Cowboys. But I'll tell you what, $50 to win here, and $30 for second place, $20 for third place, so on and so forth, down to $5 for 10th place. So, hey, an opportunity to make some money here with Championship Online Racing Association.
Yeah, I really like their payout structure, and one of the cool things about this league that makes it different from other leagues that offer payouts is it's hard to find a league that pays back all the way to 10th. So if you find yourself getting a number of top 10s, it's easy to do a lot better than breaking even in this league. So that's something that's very cool. A lot of leagues you see with payouts, usually it's only the top 2 or 3 guys actually getting somewhere with it, and everyone else feels like they're kind of throwing money into a pit. But here, the payouts are stretched out, but it's still $50 to win a race based on a $5 entry fee total. For a race that is a really nice reward.
Absolutely. And then, like you said earlier, Harrison, we're here at Richmond Speedway here tonight under the lights. A little bit of background on Richmond. Located in Richmond, Virginia. Capacity crowd here tonight, 97,900 on hand. And it's owned by International Speedway Corporation. It broke ground in 1946. This is one of the oldest tracks on the circuit. Of course, it opened up that same year. God only knows who designed the place, but it is an asphalt track, 3/4 miles in length. That turns are banked at about 14 degrees. The front stretch at about 8 degrees, 2 degrees on the back stretch. Thing to look out for here tonight, Harrison, is getting them back up off the throttle, or on the throttle, off of turn 4. I was watching these guys earlier today, saw a little bit of difficulty. That back end's going to want to come around on you. Now, these cars are not cup cars, so they don't carry the horsepower they do. But I'll tell you what, if you have a heavy foot, that back end will come around on you lickety-split.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is use up that right rear tire, which is easy to do on a short track like this. And another thing to look out for is if you overdrive the center of the corner, these cars in the middle can get really tight here at Richmond. It's easy to burn up either right side tire. So you'll see some of these guys have some speed early on and really just start dropping back. And on the opposite side of the coin, you'll see guys who maybe don't look like they're the fastest car on the track very early on, and then they really come to life. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys take to this track.
Qualifying underway here at Richmond Speedway, and Heath Smith right now sitting on the pole. Qualifying is still running, however, but Smith sits up there with a 21:45. Now, curiously, our points leader Dallas Markle, he sits at the bottom of the pile with 22:086 in qualifying. I didn't see his run, but I got a funny feeling Markle may have had some difficulty on his qualifying laps here tonight. And then, of course, Dale Smalley, who's second right behind Dallas Markle, he's sitting currently in the 9th spot in qualifying with a 21:837. So I don't know. This may be a huge deal here tonight for the top, say 3 or 4 points leaders up here: Markle, Smalley, and Churchma. If they can't get it right, Churchma sitting in 10th position behind Smalley on qualifying here. So this may be what separates these guys from some newcomers here, like Heath Smith, Michael Vandersall up there running second in qualifying, Jay Anderson running at third. So I don't know. This might be an upset tonight.
Yeah, Heath Smith is a driver that if you race late models, you know who he is. I think this is pretty much his specialty. He is extremely competitive, especially in the late models. And I know Justin Boston had a late model all-star league for quite a while that Heath Smith was competing for a title in, if I recall. And so Heath is one of those drivers to look out for. He's on the pole right now by 1/10.5. And actually, I had mentioned Galen Gidman was really good in practice. He actually got beat by Heath Smith right at the end of practice. Heath was fastest in practice.
You bet. Let's take it down trackside for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And a big thank you to the Cactus Cuties and, of course, the Virtual Thunderbirds for the flyby on the national anthem. Let's take them down through the lineup here at Richmond Speedway. Starting out on the pole here tonight, that number 12 machine on the inside belongs to Heath Smith. Michael Vandersall, he'll be starting on the outside in the number 83. Starting in third, number 18, that's Jay Anderson. In the 40 machine on the outside of Jay, that's Kevin Van. In fifth position, and the 07, that's Gary Bauer. Michael E. Johnson, he'll be starting in sixth position in the 78 machine. Paul Doucette, I believe that's going to be Nicholas Doucette in the 51 on the inside. In seventh, in eighth position, Everett D. Lane in that number 1 machine. The 69 starting in ninth, that's Dale Smalley. Michael Churchma Harrison, he'll be starting in 10th in that number 88.
Yeah, starting in 11th in the 33 will be Travis Brown. Alongside of him in row number 6 will be Garrett Atwell. Mark Montanieri is qualified in 13th alongside Ben Manning. 15th will be Nathan Sedlick, rolling off 16th Colton Berkey. Starting 17th will be the 79 of Joel Wood, and alongside of him, Galen Gibbon, who was pretty quick in practice, struggling qualifying though. Starting 19th will be Ryan Borges, and starting 20th, Cody Leland.
Jeremy Crandall will be starting in 21st position tonight in the 73. The 48, Dallas Markle, your points leader. He's sitting back here in 22nd position. 23rd is Austin Osborne. 24th belongs to TJ Graves. And the 28 car in 25th is number 28, Brandon Bark.
Yeah, it looks like Nicholas Doucette will start at the tail end of the field. Might be by request. As these guys stay working, as we actually have damage on the track already. The 84, his rear end damage, probably a miscommunication when they were leaving the grid. But that number 84 rear end damage probably, front end damage too. So it was a checkup situation. The car behind the 84 who got into him also damaged. Did not catch who that was. In fact, I think I just warped out on my end. It was the 48, I believe, of Dallas Markle. So Markle with damage right before the start of this race as the pace car's about to duck in. So our points leader in trouble already.
And the pace car does pull off, and we are set to go green flag, and the green flag is out. Heath Smith off to a good start up here. He's being chased down by Michael Vandesal and Jay Anderson in the 83 and 18 machine. Of course, we've got 150 laps here tonight at Richmond Speedway, so lots of laps to go for these Cowboys as these get these ponies warmed up, heading off through turns 3 and 4 to complete the first lap here at Richmond. Heath Smith going to pick up his first lead lap of the night here at Richmond.
Yeah, Heath Smith is going to be tough to beat. There is some crazy racing in the middle of the pack, though. If you look to about 18th or 17th, surrounding the 84 of Cody Leland, he tried to go 3 wide in the middle moments ago. Right now he's going backwards, but all the way through the middle of the pack, these guys are trying to get it sorted out. They haven't done so yet. I've seen 3 wide on multiple occasions as these guys work their way around traffic. Heath Smith, though, 84 is around on the front stretch. Not sure if it's going to bring out a caution. I don't believe they have waved the caution flag yet, but that 84 was trouble, and they actually wrecked into the grass, and the race remains green. But they're 3 as the racing continues. They look 3 wide down the backstretch, but no caution for the 84. But the 84 goes around.
It's a hot night in Richmond here tonight. If we take a second look at what happened at the 84 machine, that's going to be Cody Leland. With a lot of damage on the rear end of that machine of his. But I'll tell you what, in the meantime, Cowboy, they got these ponies spurred up and raring to go here tonight. And nothing's changed up here in front, but there was a wad of them back here, about 10th, 11th, 12th. Michael Churchma working his way around here a little bit. He's still sitting back here in 10th position, the 88 machine. And I'll tell you what, short track racing always brings out the best of bumper banking and door slamming for sure.
Yeah, there was a lot of heated racing in the middle of the pack there. That 84 did an aggressive 3 wide move in the middle, and then he started going backwards, and then I believe he, coming out of turn number 4, he simply got loose at the top of the track, and as he came down the hill, it collected 2 other cars who sustained damage. He's the only one that really spun fully around. But that was a lot of heated racing in the middle of the pack. Cody Leland loses a lap out of it. He is a lap behind the leaders, and the leaders will be staying out. Track position is at a premium, so he will not be getting the wave around. And I believe they just, the race officials threw that caution flag. I think they deemed that there was a little bit too much chaos surrounding that incident. Probably should have resulted in a caution. So Gordon Berkey making the call to throw the caution flag to get these guys back under control.
Gordon Berkey and James Brown, 2 of the administrators here with Championship Online Racing Association. They are your race officials here tonight. Of course, James Brown is the CEO. I believe Gordon Berkey is one of the vice presidents here with Championship Online Racing Association. So first caution of the night here at Richmond Speedway. Let's talk about Cora here for just a couple of minutes. I'll tell you what, Cowboy, if you haven't been involved in these guys, you got to check them out. Championship Online Racing Association, qualifying 3 nights a week for a shot at the Sunday money. Drivers pay an entry fee. Then a percentage of that fee goes up for grabs Sunday nights. during the Sunday Money Series. Win a trip to the bank. Visit them at their new website, Cora-Racing.com. That's Cora-Racing.com.
And I tell you what, I spoke about how much I liked the payout structure. I'll talk about something else about Cora right now, is that you don't have to be racing for points here. Obviously, we're in the middle of this season. You're not in the points, but you want to race. You can still race, have a chance at those weekly payouts, and there's really something for everybody here. Whether we're looking at late models tonight, next week is going to be trucks at Talladega. We've got late models at Charlotte. We've got the IndyCar at Watkins Glen. They're running Legends at South Boston. They've got trucks at Charlotte. Just a lot of combinations here, so there's something for everybody.
You know, ETVLIVE broadcasted their first Legends race here with Cora, and I don't recall what track it was, but that was an absolute blast. I became a fan of the Legends after that broadcast. Before, I thought they were kind of a mundane little car, but I'll tell you what, following that broadcast that we did for them, I have a newfound respect for the Legends cars. Plus, after that, I saw some Legends races on YouTube, and I'll tell you what, Cowboy, them little things can haul ass.
Yeah, they've got pretty much motorcycle engines. I believe Yamaha's, if I'm not mistaken. I may be completely wrong on that, but there are motorcycle engines, and the power to weight ratio in those cars is pretty impressive. When I hear people talking them up, they basically say it's similar to the power to weight ratio that a Cup car has. Obviously a lot less power, but a Legend car weighs a lot less. So those things can catch you off guard. They have a lot of speed.
Doubled up and getting ready to go. The lights are off on the pace cars. We come back around here. We're set to go back green flag racing as soon as we get through 3 and 4. Heath Smith out in front with Michael Van der Sal, Jay Anderson, Garrett. Nothing's changed up here in front. Dale Smalley, your points leader, your second in points here, sitting in 5th position. The first 3 rows, Travis Brown and the 33 on the outside. So following this caution with the number 84 machine back on lap 4, we're getting ready to turn them loose again, and the green flag is out, and we are off and running once again here at Richmond.
Yeah, Heath Smith getting a good start, letting back a little bit because the 83 looked like he wanted to go. But I tell you what, Heath Smith knows these cars, and he could wheel the heck out of them. And he jumps out to that early lead as these guys towards the back of the pack. A lot of side-by-side racing in the middle of the pack on back. In fact, maybe one of the coolest battles right now is surrounding that one car, the number 1 car of Everett Lane. Actually, they're 3 wide for a second. The 88 gets sent sideways and saves it. Michael Churchma up there in the points, and he's 3 wide again entering turn number 1. The 88 just he looks very loose right now as we have a spin somewhere on the track. I don't believe the caution is out, but the 81 of Colton Berkey was sent around, and the green flag remains out right now.
And that is going to be the 81 of Colton Berkey. He's all the way back here, about 19th position. It's going to happen on lap 11. He actually gets tangled up with the 48 machine of Dallas Markle. So Markle involved in this. He goes around, almost goes around as well, and 81 goes around. No caution has been thrown, however, so we are still green flag racing here at Richmond. But the 81 of Colton Berkey in big trouble here tonight.
Yeah, and that 48 of Dallas Markle, who sustained some rear-end damage. We saw him on the grid sustain front-end damage and just front-end damage when there was a checkup. I believe they were leaving the grid. He was able to get that repaired on pit road, came back out, and his car looked good, but I tell you, it only lasted a few laps until it got some more scuffs. So problems for Dallas so far. He just doesn't have the speed of a lot of these guys in this race right now, as there's a lot of racing going on mid-pack, probably the best racing on the track. Heath Smith has checked out as, we have a crash on the backstretch, the 28 and the 84. The 84 again involved in a crash. This one I don't believe he had anything to do with triggering. It was actually the car above him, the 28 hard wreck.
And going back to take a look at that one here, again, no caution has been thrown.
Yeah, they actually did throw the caution flag has been waved for that one. We had a few near misses as far as caution flags, but the 28 has taken his car off of the track for now. The 28, the wreck was coming out of turn number 2, and Brandon Bark in the 28 simply got a little bit too high on exit and as he got on the gas, he was just very tight, and it drove into the outside wall, and the outside wall literally propelled him left, and the 84 was a couple lanes down the track where the contact was made. So Brandon apologizes quickly, and his car was demolished, and he chose to bring it right behind the wall. So Brandon Bark out of the race.
All right, then working the second caution of the night here at Richmond. It's been a busy night here so far, 15 laps in here at Richmond, Virginia. So I tell you what, it's time for us to kind of gather things up here. Let's get ourselves straightened out here a little bit. We're going to step away, take a commercial break. You're watching live, ETV Live. This is Championship Online Racing Association tonight in the late models at Richmond. We'll be right back.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 to the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
And welcome back to Richmond here. We are here with Championship Online Racing Association, Cora for short. I want to throw a shout out to the number 50 machine, TJ Graves. I know this cowboy. He races the Tour Mod with the Triple Crown United Short Track Racing Association. I believe they were at South Boston this week in the Tour Mod. So say howdy to TJ Graves out there running in 10th. So still single file here. Next time around, they should get doubled up here. Actually, they're going to be doubled up right now. The pace car lights are off as we get set to go again. Michael Van der Zalde out in front this time with Gary Bauer. Dale Smalley takes a second row seat here in the 69 machine. Garrett Atwell and Nathan Sedlak make up the first couple of rows here. Your top 5 on this get-go. Just working caution number 2 here. Came out to here just a little bit ago, about lap 15 or so. I believe it was the 27 and the 84 bringing that one out. But the pace car should be coming down off of the track here, make that left-hand turn, and the green flag will be coming out here shortly.
Yeah, Heath Smith is one of the drivers who actually pitted during that caution period. So Heath Smith in the number 12 right now, running in 18th. I think that might have something to do with fuel. I think he might have saw that he could make it from here, but that puts him in a vulnerable position. Heath Smith running in the middle of the pack right now. I believe he just made the pass for 17th. And this is the driver who led practice and sat on the pole by quite a margin. And you know Heath knows that there's 127 laps to go next time by, I believe. And he's just taking care of his race car right now, working very methodically. We see a lot of cars getting loose out of turn number 2, especially when they're caught up high. And it looks like Heath is aware of this. So the 12 car starting to come through the field, catching some slower traffic. As there's a wreck down the front stretch, actually, Heath is going to have to avoid this, gets a little tap from behind, but there's a big wreck on the front stretch here involving the 40. A lot of cars running up front, actually, in this one, including the 40 of Kevin Van.
Yeah, it's going to start with the 88 up here and the 18. And, hey, pardon my bad there, but I'm just making sure everybody was paying attention. But, yeah, we'll check that. But the 88 starts this whole thing up here in the front with the 18. Looks like the 88 kind of bounces off the wall a little bit, and the 18 comes along, gets a piece of that action. And then, unfortunately, the 40 car is it's basically a victim in this whole thing. He gets sent around by the 88 and backwards into the outside wall, and then he gets clobbered and sent over the top here by, I'm trying to see who this is. I think that's the 67 machine of Ben Manning. Just door slams the 40 and kind of throws him for a loop and goes for an e-ticket ride here on the front stretch. So caution number 3 here at Richmond with a bunch of bent-up sheet metal this time.
Yeah, and JD, that's exactly what you warned about before the race, which was guys spinning their tires, especially out of turn number 4. That's exactly what triggered this wreck. The 88 of Michael Churchma just got onto the gas, and the car just had a lot of rotation in it. And so it kept on rotating. He couldn't get straightened out, and he bounced off of the car below him. And then as his car was just completely out of control, it spun the 40 into the wall. It spun the 18 to the inside grass. And Ben Manning, who you mentioned, who drove into the 40, just was anticipating the 40 to kind of stay in the middle of the track or cut the other direction. It's a lot of anticipation in trying to avoid wrecks, and it's very easy to anticipate the wrong direction. So tough break for a lot of guys. They were battling for about 6th or 7th where it all broke out. A lot of cars running in the top 15 who get collected, and we are under caution for, I believe, the 3rd time of the race. Most of the guys choosing to stay out. About 20 cars stayed out, including Heath Smith, who pitted before. And Heath got some rear-end damage from a car that got into him entering that crash, who didn't check up. But his car should be fine. I think it's mostly just cosmetic.
You bet. Cosmetic here at the 3/4 mile track really doesn't make that much difference. You want to keep the front end kind of clean, though, for sure. But, protect that airflow and everything up front. The curious thing about these cars, not nearly the horsepower that you find in, let's say, a Sprint Cup car, approaching, about 850 horsepower. But by the same token, these things have a pretty good amount of torque in them. So, just because you don't have the horsepower doesn't mean you can lay on the gas, too heavily here. And, what typically happens, these cars are so light, guys get a little bit antsy, they get back on the throttle a little bit too quick. That, brings the back end up off the ground, and around she goes. And then, of course, we see the results of that coming up turn 4. But here tonight with 28 laps in the books, 150 on the board. So I'm hoping that these boys get things squared away here shortly, and we can see some good green flag runs here tonight. And right now the lead hasn't changed much. Vanasol's still out in front with Atwell, Sedlak, Del Smalley, who is second in points here tonight. And I believe Del Smalley is the most paid or the highest paid winner. I mean, how would you put that? He's won more money here at Cora than I believe any other driver. Maybe we can bring Alan Larson in here to verify that, Alan.
Yeah, JV, that is definitely correct. I think we're going to have to send him a 1099 at the end of the year. What do you think?
I tell you what, a second income being developed here with the Championship Online Racing Association. But Dale Smalley, usually, and it looks like we're going to have a delayed caution here for some reason, guys. Perhaps the race officials did not like the way things were looking.
Picked up in the lineup.
Yeah, I think they had to just change the order a little bit. The 84 of Cody Leland was this caution's lucky dog. He got one of his laps back, and his damage is completely fixed, which is one of the beautiful things, gives him a second shot. And so the mistake he made early on to bring out the first caution of the race, or I'm not even sure if it brought out the caution. I think actually the race stayed green at that point, and then the caution was thrown later on. but certainly learned from his mistakes. Now he has a fresh car. He's tail end of the field. He needs one more lucky dog or wave around to get back in this thing, but the 84 has his damage fixed as the lights are out again, and they will be going green next time by. But you were talking about tire spin, JD, and you're exactly right. With the late models, you can drive them more aggressively on the throttle than a cup car, but that just means that you can get the car loose if you're off on the wheel input. So it's like a different kind of tire spin. With the cup car, you could just simply get on the gas too early and just spin the heck out of the tires. But these, you can spin the tires just the same. It's just a different feeling. But nonetheless, you got to watch it. And coming through 3 and 4, the pace car ducks in. And our leader, the 83 car, of actually the caution has, there must be a lineup error right now as the caution was extended. The pace car is on pit road, but they remain under pace speed. So Michael Vanestall is going to have to wait another lap to bring them to speed.
And we'll see if we can get a word with the race officials to find out what the extended cautions are for. I want to throw a shout out to the 51 machine. That's going to be Nicholas Doucette with the kinfolk on the back of the car there. You can tune in on Tuesday night with the Rewind BS and Backtalk radio show. Nicholas Doucette is going to be our guest in the first hour. 11 years old cowboy, and this little cat can race with the best. And he's certainly doing a good job here tonight at Richmond and the late model cars. But hopefully we're going to get things lined up here one more time. Pace car does pull off. We're getting set to go green. Keep your fingers crossed, cowboy. And Vandersall is on the gas. And off we go. Garrett Atwell is second. Nathan Sedlak looking on the inside of the 4 machine going into turn 1. Going to take it down deep along the apron line down here. The 4 still working that top side. Will Prevail coming down the back stretch. So give the second position back to the 4 of Garrett Atwell. Osborne also putting the pressure on in the 20 machine on the bottom of the 35. Here comes Osborne for third place. That's going to push Sedlak back, neck and neck, going down the front stretch here through the trial, going into 1, still side by side. Sedlak going to give that position up to the 04 of Galen Gidman.
Yeah, a lot of times you try to make a move on somebody, and when you can't quite get it done, well, you just come off of the last corner low, and the cars behind you get that good run because they're running a more normal entry. And so Nathan Sedlak right there, experiencing a frustrating situation where he didn't lose too many spots out of it, but he did lose, I believe, 2 spots. And that's just a situation where when you try to pass them, it's easy to lose that momentum, and you're very vulnerable. But the race for the lead stays tight. The 83 of Michael Vanderstal has the number 4 of Garrett Atwell putting pressure on. We saw Atwell with that strong restart get up to the second position, and now he's really putting the pressure on for the lead.
You bet. And going back here to 7th position, that's going to be Nicholas Doucette again, moving up a couple of notches to the 51 machine, putting the pressure on Dale Smalley in that 69 car out in front of him. So Doucette looking at the bottom here going into turn 1. Looks like he's going to get position on the 69 as he easily overtakes Dale Smalley for position. That's going to throw him up into the mixer, cowboy. I tell you what, keep an eye on that 51 car here tonight for sure. In the meantime, Nathan Sedlak drifting back here 5th position. The 4 car up on the upside, on the top side here, being challenged by the 04 here on the bottom for 4th place. Galen Gidman on the inside here will get the position coming off the turn. Unfortunately, the 4 stuck up there on the top has to get off the throttle. That's going to allow Nathan Sedlak to squeeze on by.
Yeah, that 4 car of Garrett Atwell actually got the lead, but then he lost it about a lap or 2 later. The 20 car of Austin Osborne able to get by, and right now is showing some strength. The 20 car pulling away. Galen Gidman has gained a couple of spots since that restart. Now he was second fastest in practice, and I was caught off guard when Galen qualified 18th. He qualified about 4/10, I believe, slower than he practiced. So we knew that he had some ability in that car, and he just didn't show it in qualifying. But Galen up to 3rd as the leader right now, getting way too high. Actually scrubs the wall on entry and has to bring it back down through the whole first half of turns 1 and 2. But Austin Osborne remains in the lead, and the 83 of Michael Vanestall has actually got into a rhythm and is starting to catch the 20 back again for the lead. So an interesting lead battle this whole run.
A challenge back here, about 12th position. Colton Berkey going past Dale Smalley. Smalley giving up a couple of positions here. Whoa, the 07 out in front of Berkey gets sideways here, almost slipping up here off of turn 2. Manages to hang on to it, but the 81 Colton Berkey, that's Gordon Berkey's son. Gordon Berkey, one of the administrators here. He is the vice president of Cora here. The 81 not having the night that I think he hoped for, but I tell you what, he's holding his own back here just outside the top 10, sitting here in 11th position. Getting a little snaky up here in front, though, the 12 machine of Heath Smith. Remember, Heath Smith started up there on the pole here tonight, trying to get it back with a little bit of damage on the left rear of that machine of his. Now, he is side by side down the front stretch with the number 1 machine. That's going to be Everett Lane up there on the top as he gives up the position, drops down and back to the 12 machine. Down the back stretch we go. 42 laps in the books here at Richmond.
Yeah, and that number 12 of Heath Smith, I believe, if his car is any indication, my memory is correct. He's a part of that Gale Force Racing team, which is, I would say, primarily led by Nick Ottinger, who has 5 wins in the iRacing DWC Series, or I should say NASCAR iRacing Series World Championship. The name changes a little bit from year to year. I probably had it wrong. But Gale Force suspension, Gale Force, mostly I think they do a lot of shock work and things of that nature, or Cale Gale at least did a lot of shock work, but that is led by Cale Gale's family and his papa Bubba Gale, if my memory serves me correctly, and Heath Smith is one of the fastest late model drivers there is. So he's been methodically working his way through this field, exhibiting a lot of patience, a lot of smart driving, and that Gale Force number 12, that white paint scheme with the baby blue looks awfully good tonight.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, back here about 17th position, going past Dale Smalley, the 73 machine. That's Jeremy Crandall up here. I'll tell you what, Dale Smalley giving up right and left here. Smalley not real comfortable in the late model car here tonight. I think he's just here to get his laps in and get done with this thing. But Smalley falling victim to a number of cars here. 17th position right now, but up in front of him, there was quite a herd of cars, starting with Crandall in 16th position. Just in front of him is Mark Montanari, and I'll tell you what, throw a shout out to Mark Montanari with the setup analyzer. And I'll tell you what, if you need a crew chief, Cowboy, you got to get this setup analyzer. If you build your own setups, that's a big time tool to help you out. But Mark Montanari currently running in 15th position. Things get kind of spread out back here. But Harrison, in front of him, Ben Manning is being challenged by TJ Graves. TJ Graves is a late model driver. He also drives those modified cars here in the iRacing sim as well. So I tell you what, the 50 machine of TJ Graves putting the pressure on the 67. But then there's a roadblock up in front with Everett D. Lane and Travis Brown and the 1 and the 12 car just ahead. So I tell you what, any way you look on this racetrack here tonight, right now, there's something going on here. Just take your pick.
Yeah, there's a lot of racing going on throughout this field. Jeremy Crandall was making up a lot on the 14, and then he just got loose, so that battle died down. But Everett Lane in the number 1, getting passed right now by TJ Graves. TJ actually from my home state, the only driver in the field from Club New Jersey, as TJ Graves in the 50 works his way underneath the 67 of Ben Manning. Ben Manning getting passed. That is for the 12th position right now. TJ Graves, his car a little bit worn on that right side. He's used the wall or someone else's car somewhere, but TJ up to 12th position, coming out of 4 down the front stretch. But he's under pressure right now from the 67 of Manning that he just passed. But Manning's under pressure from the number 1 of Everett Lane. And so Everett Lane in the 1 and Ben Manning in the 67 remain side by side, but it looks like Manning's going to clear him entering 3.
Austin Osborne on cruise control out there in front, about 1.5 seconds out in front. Nathan Sedlak, 3rd position, 35 car. He's trying to put the pressure on Galen Gidman here in the 04, just ahead of him. Can't quite get there, though, but I'll tell you what, with 51 laps in the book, probably just letting it cruise here for a little bit. The racing isn't going to start until you get about 20, 25 to go here anyway. So, keep it clean, keep it on all 4s, hit your marks, and let's wait till the end of this thing comes and then put the challenge on. Michael Vandesal, he's back here in the 83 machine. He's 2.5 seconds in back of leaders here. Almost about 9/10 of a second in back of 3rd place. So I tell you what, things getting settled down here quite a bit. I'm not seeing the issues that I was seeing before. Everybody seems to be falling in here, hitting their marks, and get through these turns. Keeping an eye on turns 3 and 4. That's been the culprit here tonight at Richmond for sure.
Yeah, we're about more than a third. We're slightly ahead of a third of the way through this race. As you mentioned, Austin Osborne in the number 20 pulling out to a really solid lead, as now the battle is on for second between Galen Gidman currently has that second position, and Nathan Sedlick, who I believe just lost that second position a few laps ago. But the 04 and the 35 battling for second. Nathan Sedlick doing all he can to try to get by, as actually he gets a lane. The lane opens up underneath the number 04, and so the 35 of Sedlick moves up into second position for now. But it just seems like they're playing musical chairs out here.
You bet. Musical chairs, and that's pretty much how it is in the short track racing. It's anybody's number. You just got to wait till the end of this thing, see who's going to get to the finish line first. But hey, let's throw a shout out there for Mark Montanari, the setup analyzer. If you need a crew chief, here's the next best thing. Mark Montanari's Sim Racing Setup Analyzer. As you test the car, you enter the real data into the analyzer. It gives you the real recommendations to make your changes. You can join the ranks of some of the fastest guys in sim racing, get the equalizer, and start turning your wrecks into wins at the click of the mouse. I tell you what, Cowboy, Sim Racing Setup Analyzer, that's the only thing, the only crew chief you'll ever need. You can get it at setupanalyzer.com. Again, that's Mark Montanari. Mark currently running in 17th in the 14 machine here tonight at Richmond.
Yeah, Mark Montanari running pretty consistent lap times right now. One guy I want to take a look at, and he's passing Heath Smith, and that is the number 73 of Jeremy Crandall. We saw Jeremy running around Montanari just a few laps ago, and now he's well ahead of him. Jeremy Crandall, who passed Montanari not long ago. Crandall in that 73 is actually running some of the fastest lap times on the track when he's not passing someone. He's got a really fast race car. That 73 up to the 13th position as of right now. Just made his way past the pole sitter, who maybe his car isn't handling too well. He might have actually hurt the rear end a little bit with that damage, possibly, or just missed the setup a little bit right now, and will need some adjusting to make when he comes back down pit road. But the 73 coming through the field.
You bet. And the 88 of Churchman just going past Heath Smith back here. Now the 88, remember, he was involved in that big caution back on lap 24 with the 18 machine, bounced off the wall and actually created some havoc right there off of turn 4 with several other cars. But here in the 4 machine of Garrett Atwell getting a little bit sideways here tonight. Hey, that seems to be the MO at Richmond and these late models here tonight, Cowboy. I've seen a lot of these guys just get absolutely, almost completely sideways, but for the most part, able to get it back, get it straightened out. But the 4 machine being pressured by the 81. That Colton Berkey down there on the bottom, and this Cowboy's on a roll too. Colton Berkey started in 17th or 16th position here tonight. He's moved up into 7 inside the top 10. So the 81 having a pretty decent night so far.
Yeah, Colton Berkey in that 81 is one of the fastest cars on the track. For a little while there, he was running times very similar to the leader. He's dropped off a little bit since then, to where he's within a 10th though. But that was quite the battle. And these cars are so momentum based that these guys definitely try to set them up with some rotation. But you set a car up with rotation and you can overdo it. And obviously a rotation-based car, anytime it's getting loose, you're losing time, you're scrubbing speed. Of course, if you're too tight, you're losing time, you're scrubbing speed. So it's a very fine balance. As the number 4 continues to lose spots, Garrett Atwell in the number 4, stuck on the high side. And he was the car that we saw just a few laps ago get really loose. And get stuck up high. So a lot of comers and goers in this one.
Ryan Borges was putting the pressure on the 4 here just a moment ago, but I tell you what, the 32 machine down the front stretch here, or back stretch, looking to the inside of the 4, almost making contact coming off of turn 4 here. The 32 trying to get there, just doesn't have the horsepower to do it, backs off, going to try it again here going into turn 1. But I tell you, kind of a herd of cars back here. The 50 of TJ Graves looking on the inside of the 32 as well. So I tell you, there's just a gaggle of cars back here looking to get somewhere here tonight as we put 66 laps in the books here at Richmond Speedway. Again, this is Championship Online Racing Association Cora Sunday Money Series, and you're watching it live on ETV Live.
Yeah, the 50 of TJ Graves also coming through the field. That 50 car moving his way past the number 4 of Garrett Atwell, who continues to fall backwards. Now the number 4 being shown in 10th as he plays a little bit defensively in front of the number 07 of Gary Bauer. That's another sim racing setup.
Whoa, one going around.
Painted car wow. I missed it at the moment, but that looks like the 32 of Ryan Borges just got really sideways out of turn number 2.
Yeah, I was sitting here watching Gary Bauer, number 7 machine, and the 32 of Ryan Borges, he just comes off the wall and gets it sideways, but manages to hang on to it. I tell you talk about the good hands move of the night. Got to go to that 32 machine so far here on lap 67 as he gathers it back up. But good save for Ryan Borges for sure.
Yeah, as this racing just continues to be, as the 88 of Churchman gets the wall out of 4. Now he's alongside that 32 Brian Borges, and it's a lot of battling back here from about the 7th position all the way back to about 14th. All these cars just racing really hard, and as the 88 crosses over the 32, as they come real close to contact coming out of turn number 4, but 88 of Churchma was just clear enough to pull off a bit of a slide job. Not quite a slide job, but close enough. And a lot of racing going on back here. But just in front of the 88 of Churchman actually driving a little bit defensively, going down the backstretch there. But we have a spin in 3 and 4. The number 4 cars around. The number 4 of Garrett Atwell, who we saw struggling. Not sure what the cause was, but he went around in 3 and 4.
Looking here now, coming off of turn 4, the 4 machine pretty much all by himself here. As looks like he might have had a little bit of help from the 07 machine here. Get my rewind here set up. Yeah, he did. Looks like the 07 of Gary Bauer just getting into the turn just a little bit too deep and tags the 4, and around both of them go. Bauer into the outside wall as well. So a little bit of damage. Hey, it's just cosmetic. But this should bring out a caution number 4 here at Richmond.
Yeah, Gary Bauer in that 07, he just got in a little bit too hot. The number 4 car did not run a slow corner in front of him, but the 07 Bauer just missed his spot a little bit. The 4 went around. The 73 got involved by locking his brakes. The 73 was trying to avoid it, locked his brakes, the car went straight. You lock those tires up, and it just does not want to turn here. I could vouch for that. I've done that before. So it looks silly, but when you get on the brakes too hard, the car shoots right like that, which is very frustrating to have happen. So about a 3 or 4 car incident. I believe 3 cars sustaining damage in that one, as we were under caution. After a pretty decent run, we're approaching the halfway point. We're about 2 laps away from halfway as most of the vehicles come down pit road. I think we'll see a lot of guys going with 2 tires. For track position. These pit stops actually take quite a while for all 4. Actually, most of these guys going for 4. I believe most of these guys going for 4. A couple with 2 coming off of pit road right now, I believe. But Gidman is the first one to exit pit road, and if I go back and look, he actually took 4 himself. But Doucette gained a lot of spots off of pit road. That number 51, Nick Doucette.
And Austin Osborne came down pit road. He was leading the race, and I think he missed his pit box and drove right on through. Looks like he pulled in, was not his pit box, and then pulled right back out on the track again, giving up a couple of positions. So Austin Osborne had to come around the second time and get into his pit box. So that's going to set your leader, Austin Osborne, back by quite a bit. As we watch it on the replay here of Osborne missing his pit box. But the 20 machine, full service, 4 new shoes and a bucket of oats down there on pit road. He'll get back out there, but he's going to give up quite a few positions. So
yeah, that's going to be really difficult to make up if he's not able to catch some sort of strategy break where possibly he takes 2 tires later in the going when a bunch of people take 4, or he stays out when other people pit. But track position here certainly means something. It is really difficult to come from 20th on back in a field with a lot of competition. We saw some of the fastest cars on the track only be able to get up to about 8th, 9th, 10th. And so Austin Osborne was legitimately the fastest car on the track that last run. And he's really got his work cut out for him, as he actually looks like he's going to be able to restart somewhere around the 17th position.
Rewind, BS, and Back Talk radio show. Nicholas Doucette, he's going to be our guest on Tuesday night. But I'll tell you what, you can join myself, Jimmy North, Evan Pasoko, and the whole crew on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. for an hour of Rewind, looking back at previously broadcasted events here on ETV Live, guest interviews, drama, and topics too hot to touch. I'll tell you what, the boys ramp it up in the BS and Back Talk segment with thoughts and opinions on some of the hot topics in the online racing arena. Fun and entertaining as we get back to racing here at Richmond. Join us Tuesday night, 9 o'clock p.m. on ETV Live Radio.
As the pace car lights are off, and we will be getting the green flag next time by, and Galen Gidman has inherited the lead from the number 20 of Austin Osborne, missing his stall. So Gidman will be out front, but he's got that number 51 of Nicholas Doucette, who is outside. And both cars running the highest that they have all race. The 83 of Michael Van Estal, strung early on, will be third as they come to the restart. The pace car goes in. The 04 waits, and now Galen Gidman gets on the gas. The green flag is out. We're back underway.
Well, strategy there at the green flag with the 04 of Goodman. I think he was just kind of waiting here a little bit to see what's going to happen. But throw kind of a mix-up with these guys. You see that quite often with some of these leaders as we come around. And I tell you what, the 50 car, I'm watching TJ Graves here. He's moved up into the top 5, now sitting in fourth position here. Wow! Just right out of the side of my eye, the 35 machine just rocketed into the corner and right around TJ Graves right on the bumper of the 35 machine. I don't think he appreciated that kind of a dive bomb into the turn there by the 35. But I'll tell you what, Cowboy, I didn't think that the 35 had enough brakes to get that thing wound up.
Yeah, you could really drive these late models into the corners, and he did. As just a lap later, the 50 of TJ Graves going for a wow, I thought he was going to take a shot there and get underneath the 35, just couldn't quite get there. As the 51 with a heated battle here, the 51 actually throwing a block on the 35 down the front stretch. That's Nicholas Doucette defending his position as second through fifth right here. You could throw them underneath a blanket right here. They are all racing extremely hard. The 51 of Doucette choosing the inside line. 35 of Sedlick says, all right, we'll try to make this happen on the high side. And it is a battle on for third place right here. They are 3 wide, looking 3 wide, entering back to 2 wide before turn number 1. 50 of TJ Graves backs out wisely, but they are still side by side for third.
I'll tell you what, the driver of that number 51 machine up there, his name is Nicholas Doucette. He's 11 years old, Cowboy. Write that name down and keep track. As this kid, I'll tell you what, he is racing with some pretty good stuff out here. You know, the likes of T.J. Graves, Del Smalley, the Dallas Maracle, Gary Bauer's been here for a while. Everett Lane's, a pretty good driver here as well. So I tell you, that 51 machine, keep your eye on that, Cowboy. But back here, about 13th position, we've got a gaggle of cars back here, about 13th position. Oh, the 20 almost getting out of shape back here. That's going to be Osborne. Remember, he was your leader before that pit stop and missed his pit and had to come around again. That set him back to about 17th, now sitting in 12th position here as we put 83 laps in the books. Things are starting to get a little bit heated up here on lap 83.
Yeah, moments ago, some tempers back in that battle for second. TJ Graves, I don't think he was too thrilled with Nicholas Doucette locking down the backstretch like that. Drove into turn number 3 and just gave him a shot. But it didn't really do anything to the 51, but it halted the momentum of TJ Graves. But looking back at that number 20, Austin Osborne is someone to watch. He restarted, I believe, in 16th or 17th. Actually, he restarted in 17th, currently shown in 12th. Now he's got a little bit of air to breathe as he's catching the battle, or he's up to 11th. Now he's catching the battle between 2 cars who are running 9th and 10th. But Austin Osborne coming through the field pretty quickly, and he wants to do this as quickly as possible because I tell you, we have 65 laps to go as the leaders cross the line, and 65 laps here at Richmond is not a long time.
No, it's not. And I'll tell you what, these Cowboys really got things heated up this time around, and a lot of pressure being put on back here. About 11th position, Austin Osborne looking to get back up to the front, has the 40 up on the outside. That's going to be the 40 of, I've lost my damn place. Kevin Vaughn up in the 40 machine as my mouse gets a little bit cranky here. But I'll tell you what, things getting heated up back there. Tony Austin Osborne putting the pressure now on the 14 of Mark Montanari. We get this thing straightened out, Cowboy. But I'll tell you what, almost like these guys had took a drink of that Red Bull down there in the pits. Some of these guys.
Yeah, it sure seems like everyone had their Wheaties for breakfast, that's for sure. Mark Montanari, who we saw running about 15th in the last run, was all the way in the top 10 there, loses a couple of spots. He's playing it safe right now as he's going to duck back in line behind his teammate, the 07 of Gary Bauer. But Austin Osborne gets by those two cars that he was catching. Austin Osborne is running in 9th, and there are 3 cars battling in front of him, about half a second in front of him. We have the number 4 of Garrett Atwell alongside the 12 of Heath Smith. Now, Heath Smith in that 12 got his damage fixed from earlier
50.
in the race, as we might have a problem.
50 car almost losing it coming off of turn 2 here. He's got the, I think that's the 35 of Nathan Sedlick. It's about 5th position up here. But the 35 machine going through the turns here, and then the 50 TJ Graves comes on up and just doesn't get it wound up, almost gets sideways. So the 50 TJ Graves really trying to put the pressure on the leaders up here, try and make some headway. But the 35 of Nathan Sedlick, he's up here with the 51 of Nicholas Doucette out in front of him. These guys are all up here in the top 5. So I'll tell you what, with 90 laps in the books, we're getting to the short end of the stick here, Cowboy, because the remaining laps are going to go by 6 lickety-split.
Yeah, and that was a situation where the 2 cars in front of the 50 of TJ Graves were running pretty low entering the corner, and you can't carry as much speed when you enter shallow like that. And so TJ tried to capitalize, and but that was a great save by TJ Graves, as Nicholas Doucette in the number 51 actually gets underneath the 83 Michael Vanisall, and the 51 of Nicholas Doucette up to position number 2. But now the 35 of Nathan Sedlick is now putting the pressure on the 83. As this is a heated battle for second right now.
You bet another heated battle is going to be back here about 18th position. It's going to be the number 18 of Jay Anderson. Got the 84 machine of Cody Leland. Remember, Cody's had all kinds of problems here tonight, 3 laps down. But I tell you what, the 18 are looking to put something together here tonight. Everett Delane up on the top side gets a little wicked coming off the turn, and the caution is out again here at Richmond. I'm hearing the 78 machine bringing this one out. It's going to be Michael Johnson, I believe.
Yeah, Dallas Markle apologetic over the radio. The 78 and Michael Johnson not aggravated. He understood what happened there, but Dallas Markle not meaning to get into the 78, but it was a side-by-side battle between Michael Johnson and Cody Leland. Michael Johnson was trying to squeeze by, and when you're below someone, you don't want to swing too wide and get into the driver to your outside, and so Michael Johnson just didn't carry as much momentum as Dallas Markle expected, and Dallas gets into the 78 out of turn number 2. The 78 sent into the inside retaining wall. So Michael Johnson will have to come down pit road, repair that damage, currently being shown in 22nd, last car on the lead lap. And this bunches everyone up again to where Austin Osborne, who we saw just dominate the previous run, will now be shown. He drove his way up to 8th. And now these drivers are hitting pit road once again as we get ready for the final 50 laps here at Richmond International Raceway.
But and I'm trying to trace down. I saw something as I was reviewing that deal with Michael Johnson. I saw the number 1 of Everett Lane an issue almost getting sideways. I'm trying to look for it now. It may have happened on lap 92. I think the 84 made contact. Oh, that's it right here. Coming off of turn 4, the 84 of Cody Leland makes contact with the 1 of Everett Lane, almost turning the 1 around. A lot of smoke comes off the tires, but Lane able to hang on to it, get straightened back out. That happened just before that issue with the 78 of Michael Johnson.
Yeah, and I believe Jay Anderson is the only car to stay out, so Jay Anderson will have the lead. And we will actually go to a quick commercial break and return in time for the final 50 laps. Here, a great race brewing here at the Richmond International Raceway.
5,000 plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV Live Sports Radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com. And we are back live, picking up the green flag with Jay Anderson out in front with Nicholas Doucette in the 51 machine, putting the pressure on for the lead. The 18 under fire from the 51. Down the front stretch we go into turn one. The 51 is going to get it from the 18. Nicholas Doucette in the 51 to the lead. He will cross the start-finish line, score one for the 51.
Yeah, the 51 of Nicholas Doucette taking 2 tires on that pit stop to beat out some of the cars that were running in front of him. There was only 1 or 2 cars that were in front of him, one of them being Galen Gidman right now, who is stuck in traffic. Nicholas Doucette to the lead, though, as Gary Bauer, way up the track. That was right behind our leader, the 07, way up the track. Right now under attack from the number 50 of TJ Graves, and we've seen that 50 of Graves be really aggressive this race, and he's been fast, and right now he's up in this battle for the lead. But check who's coming into the picture right now, up to 4th, the number 20 of Austin Osborne.
07 going around, big wreck here coming off of turn 4.
Wow, I was just ahead of that, and I completely missed that, and that is a huge crash. It looks like it started from the 07, cutting it into the number 04 of Gidman. The 07 just came down the track and took out a lot of cars there. The 73 involved, the 40 involved.
Yeah, I'm not sure, taking a second look here with in Gidman's car, in the 04 here, he's leaving plenty of room on that top side up there. The 07 just comes down in and door slams the 04, and around they go. And I'll tell you what, he's going to collect, I'm looking here at the numbers, the 12 car of Graves involved. The 73 of Crandell is involved. Ben Manning may have squeaked through this here. Looks like Manning just barely escaped through this. But a number of cars with a lot of sheet metal damage here on lap 102 at Richmond.
Yeah, and Gary Bauer apologizing for the incident. He had his wheel cranked left, and I just don't think that he realized that car had gotten the run on him. The 04 of Gidman sort of cut underneath him halfway down the straightaway, and I don't think Gary realized it. So tough break for a lot of those guys. A lot of guys will have to come down pit road and get that damage fixed, as most of the drivers staying out, because we only went a few laps there. I went about 2 or 3 laps at most. So on this restart, Nicholas Doucette will have control over the field. Second place car is Michael Vanestal, who's led a bunch of laps earlier, and then TJ Graves, who's been pushing it all night long, up to 3rd, and Austin Osborne, who led a bunch of laps in the middle of that race. He's up to 4th, and I'll have to go back. I'm going to go back and look right now, but I believe he did take 4 tires under the last pit stop as I look right now, and yeah, Austin Osborne is on 4 tires, so if he gets into a battle with the 51, he's got 4, and the 51's got 2.
And I believe I might have misspoke during that caution. It was actually the 12 of Heath Smith, not TJ Graves, that took a lot of damage off of that caution. So working caution number, I believe this is number 5 if I'm not mistaken. 105 laps in the books here at Richmond Speedway, so things are definitely starting to heat up here a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. As Michael Churchma, who's had a rough outing so far, is the lucky dog as they bring him around the pace car, which will put him as the 21st car on the lead lap. So I believe these guys do have resets. So these guys getting involved in wrecks, I think they have a limited number of resets, clearly not unlimited, but Heath Smith able to get his damage repaired very quickly. He had a lot of damage. And certainly one thing that he does not have, though, is track position. But he's got a clean car. But certainly we're going to go green with about 42 to go. These guys do not have a lot of time, and they know that. And that's why you see this aggressive driving.
You bet. I'll tell you what, if they would just start these things at about the 20 to go mark, we'd probably see some pretty good racing all night long. It should be over in a hurry, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. As the pace car lights go off, and we will be going green next time by. Now this is going to be the first restart that the 51 of Nicholas Doucette leads all night. So it'll be interesting to see how he comes to this restart, as there's a little bit of chatter going on as far as Black Flag.
Yeah, the 83 machine, Michael Vandersall, I want to make mention here. He's been kind of quiet all night, pretty much staying out of trouble. I don't think he's shown all his stuff yet. He may be giving the 51 a run for his money here. But TJ Graves, certainly a big-time threat back here in third position in that 50 machine. Look for him to put the pressure on the 51 as well as we get ready to go racing here again. The pace car pulls off. Green flag is in the air. Doucette's trying to lead him down nice and slow. A little bit of strategy working here, and we get going. So off into turn 1, the 83 is going to drop right down in behind the 51, and here comes the 50. Almost making contact with the 83, and I'll tell you what, it almost looked like a squeeze job by the 83, but couldn't get in between the 50 and 80 and the 51. And we're hearing that Cody Leland is around again. This is about the 3rd or 4th time that I think the 84's been around here.
Yeah, we remain green.
Second time.
Right now. The race remains green, and Cody Leland's got it going somewhere on the apron, I believe. But there's a battle on for the lead right now as TJ Graves really looking to get to the 51 of Nick Doucette. They get a little bit of apron and don't make up much ground right there. But something to look out for here is now Nicholas Doucette out front is not actively blocking, but he is running a defensive line. And so when people get these big runs, if they look low and the 51 is there, they will not be afraid to use the bumper. This is something that frustrates you as a driver. And so I would worry about the 50 using his bumper if you're the 51. The 83 got that great restart, trying to get back in line, but he's running 3rd right now. So all 3 cars right there. Coming out of turn.
Go ahead. I was just taking another look at this deal back over at the 84.
Yeah, up front.
Go 50. Ahead. I've already lost. Go ahead.
The 50 car of TJ Graves just doing everything he can right now. This is a great battle for the lead. Nick Doucette doing all he can to keep that lead in that black and camo. The 50 dives low, but it wasn't close enough. Had to back out. We've got 4 cars in this lead battle. Actually, more than 4 cars. As really loose as you saw from the 50.
50 car almost losing it off of turn 4. That's been the tricky turn all night long here at Richmond Speedway. And of course the 50 trying to get it back under control. The 4 of Garrett Atwell sneaks on by for 2nd place, but TJ Graves ain't giving it up yet, Cowboy, as Michael Vandersall up here on the 83 machine giving up a bunch of positions up here. Austin Osborne looking to get back to the front 2 in the 20 machine up here, occupying that 3rd place. So I tell you what, these Cowboys are really spurring these ponies on as Garrett Atwell now putting the pressure on the 51.
Yeah, Garrett Atwell running as high as he has in quite a while, and he's really putting the pressure on, and this is some serious blocking going on. That last time by the stripe, the 4 was there, and he was getting blocked straight to the apron, and so these drivers are actually pretty active on the radios, not happy about it, but Garrett Atwell gets into the wall, and now look who's coming into the picture, that 20 of Austin Osborne right on these leaders, and he's got 4 fresh tires, and so Austin puts the bumper immediately to the 51 coming out of turn number 4. These drivers are all over the track right now.
I'll tell you what, leading them into it is the 51 of Nicholas Doucette. I'll tell you what, Cowboy, he's protecting that bottom line down there.
As the caution comes out, I believe, for the number 40 of Kevin Van
40.
who went around. It was Dallas Maracle who got into the 40. It was the 48 who got into the 40, coming out of turn number 2. And then someone comes in there really late, sends the 40 around, and a couple of cars get involved. So it was sort of a late wreck there. But we will be under caution, which will put us taking the green flag with only about 30 to go.
You've got taking a look here with Kevin Vaughn riding in his car. He takes a door slam from the 48. And a pretty significant door slam, knocks him into the wall pretty good, gets a couple of souvenirs, and really trying to get his stuff back. And then along comes, I believe, the 88 of Michael Churchma, and just plows into the 40 as the 40 comes bouncing off the wall. And that sends the 88 around, and also the Joel Wood machine, the 79. Also, Joel Wood staying out of trouble all night long in that 79, finds himself mixed up in Churchman's stuff up here with the 88 and the 40. So I tell you what, there's going to be some bent up scrap metal behind the shop tonight.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they call this track the action track, and it has been the action track tonight. As the number 51 car is stopped on the track waiting for the pace car, he flew by the pace car. Now that's interesting because Austin Osborne has made his way to pit road, while the 51 of Nick Doucette did not come to pit road because he was ahead of the pace car. And so we'll have to see how many people stay out here and if this is going to be a factor in this lead battle. But certainly, actually, a lot of cars stayed out. And as a driver myself, I sort of question Austin Osborne's strategy at this point. I really would have kept myself up there. But right now he's going to have to fight from about 10th or worse as a number of drivers do stay out. So Nicholas Doucette retains the lead, and he will have Michael Van Estal and Brian Borges behind him as a number of cars come down pit road, to my surprise.
Yeah, I'm watching this. I'm watching this thing with the caution. The 51 crosses the start-finish line, and then, you know what? I think he went around the pace car. He beat the pace car. Yeah, that's what happened. The 51 beats the pace car. The pace car's pulling out, but the 51 should have slowed up and waited for the pace car. That's what the 51 was doing, stopped on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. And they do, you retain your position as long as you let the pace car by in an orderly amount of time, which he does. But certainly we're going to get the one to go, I believe, not this lap, but the next lap, if I'm not mistaken. Austin Osborne looked like the guy who was on the strategy to win moments ago. Right now being shown in 10th. I think he just expected more people to come down pit road with him as the lights go out this time, so they're going to double up. And Nicholas Doucette, he's looking a little better than he was before. The 83 has speed, though. If it's going to be anyone in the top 5 able to pass the 51 for the win, it would be the 83. But we'll have to see just how much those new tires are an advantage for the guys restarting 10th on back.
Well, I'll tell you what, the 51, that's going to be Nicholas Doucette down there. He's been putting the blocks on these guys, so, you got to be careful with that stuff because, a lot of these guys behind are probably getting a little bit annoyed with that, and you're liable to risk a spin if that happens. But the pace car pulls off, getting ready to go green flag. 51 picks it up. We're back to racing again here at Richmond. The 83 machine up on the top side here, and give this thing about a half a lap or so. I think the 83 is going to be knocking on the back bumper of the 51. if it's not the 32 of Ryan Borge. Ryan Borge alongside the 83 as 83 finally gets back in the gas here. So we may have a three-way run to the finish line up here if this thing stays green.
Yeah, caution out once again. There's a wreck entering turn number 3. Involved are the 67 of Ben Manning. Didn't see what happened, but it's a 4-car crash over here. It looks like they were 3 wide out of turn number 2. The 20 comes down. The 20 gets hooked. The 20 gets hooked by the 50 down into the 67, and a big wreck ensues because they're 4 wide entering turn number 3. So the 67 comes up the track a little bit trying to get back in line, and they didn't realize they were 4 wide. So a lot of cars drive in there, a lot of heavy damage, and we'll have another restart.
Yeah, this is, the 50 takes a 3 wide here coming off of turn 2 on the restart, which is a little... I think that's a little much, with the 69 up on the top, the 67 on the bottom here. The 50 goes 3 wide, and of course, all hell breaks loose after making the hook with the 20 machine. So, and then, further damage. I mean, you got the Travis Brown machine, the 33 involved. He's a victim in this whole thing, unintentional. So, it's just overdriving. It's getting a little bit overzealous here at 121 laps in the books.
Yeah, definitely. And it came close to working, but the 20 of Austin Osborne just didn't sweep as wide as the 50 thought. And TJ did a good job of holding his line, but obviously an aggressive move like that, you got to worry about the people around you, and that's exactly what happened. But this is just, it's good for Nicholas Doucette in the sense that it does not let these guys get those extra laps where they can use those tires to their advantage. And so every lap that's under yellow is another lap that guys like Austin Osborne are not able to come through the field. But this restart with the 32 car getting by the 83 on the last restart, that puts the 83 of Michael Vandestall to the inside of row number 2, and he should be able to keep his nose, should he get a decent restart, he should be able to keep his nose underneath the 32 and find his way back into the second position. So look for that 83 to put some real pressure on the leader once we get this race restarted again.
Yeah, and on that last restart, the 32 of Ryan Borge, he was really putting a lot of pressure on. And, if this thing would have stayed green, I think he would have really put the bumper to the 51. And like I said, I mean, when you're the leader out in front and, you put the block on a couple of these guys, they're going to get a little annoyed with you. So I think the 51 is going to run the risk of being turned by one of these guys if he keeps it up. Let's talk about the 50 here for a minute, I think it was, the 50 of TJ Graves. Now here's a guy with a lot of experience, but he comes in with some guys that probably don't have a whole lot of experience in the late model car. So you want to be careful there as well. You don't want to take the risk because, you're not sure who you're racing against here. So the 50 going to be restarting all the way back here in 13th after an effort to try to get back up in front. But the 50 of TJ Graves, in fact, he may be given a penalty here. So TJ Graves having to start the end of the longest line here tonight at Richmond for bringing that last caution out.
Yeah, the race officials giving him the penalty for the caution. Clearly they weren't thrilled. They thought his 3 wide move was the biggest factor. Of course, the contact in exiting 2 didn't bring out the yellow, but I guess it created a situation entering 3 where it did. As all the cars double up, we have Austin Osborne, who did not make up any spots that run. He's going to be restarting in 10th, and so he's got his work cut out for him here. We are at 25 to go right now, so when we come back around, it'll be 24, and I think he's going to run out of time, to be honest. But it's going to be a good battle up here for the front regardless. Just might be a tough break as the pace car ducks in, and the 51 of Doucette waiting to go, and he's on the gas. And the 83 not quite getting as good of a restart as he needed. 32 might be able to clear him entering turn number 1, but he does not. The 83 is low, and the 83 is battling for second.
And I think Nicholas just set up there just a little bit of strategy on the restart there, just kind of pedaling the throttle, waiting to go. So try to throw these guys off. But I hear the 4-car machine of Garrett Atwell around here on lap 127 here, but I don't know if the caution Yep, caution is out for the 4. Roll it back here a little bit. This might have been a solo spin. Nope, he got some help from what looks like the might have been the 20 of Austin Osborne again.
But actually ended up.
Or no, I take that back. It's the 18. 18 sent him around.
Yeah, the 18 of Jay Anderson was cleared by the 4 going down the backstretch. The 4 of Garrett Atwell decided, oh, I need to get on this low side, and he was way clear of the 18. He didn't really chop block him whatsoever, but the 18 just drove into 3 really hard. Sometimes you get a little frustrated, a little fed up, and 18 simply drove into turn 3 way too hard, took out the 4. And so the 4 Garrett Atwell, having a bit of a rough night. He's had a lot of speed, but it just seems like he's been getting caught up in some stuff. And so that's a really tough break, as when we go green, he will not have much time to get rolling. In fact, his car is so broken that he might lose a lap here. Even if he's able to reset his car is just so damaged that he's going to have trouble staying on the lead lap as he gets a lap down right now. The leaders go on by, and basically the 4 cars race is effectively over because he's probably going to lose another lap towing. And so he's going to need 2 cautions to get back on the lead lap. It's going to be tough for him. And so Nicholas Doucette remains the leader.
You bet. I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and take a real quick commercial break here while we've got the chance. You're watching live, ETV Live, so hang on tight, Cowboy. We'll be right back.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Plus other listeners where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV Live, sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks. HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
And we are back live here, getting ready to roll one more time here with Paul Doucette. Actually, Paul Doucette. Nick Doucette, got to get used to that. The young man is 11 years old, and in order to have an iRacing account, you have to be 13. But, hey, I'll tell you what, the 51 doing an outstanding job up here in front, keeping everybody at bay. We're on the short side of things here. About 20, less than 20 to go here at Richmond as 51 brings him down to the green flag again. And we are off and rolling here one more time. The 83 of Michael Vanisall going to try to stay close to the bumper of the 51 machine up here. In the meantime, the 32 off to a little bit of a slow start. And here comes a 12 on the outside of Heath Smith. Heath Smith starting on the pole here at Richmond tonight. And he gets the third place position. He's going to put the bumper to the 51 here momentarily. The 83 up on the top side, coming off of turn 4, down across the start-finish line. The 12 looking on the inside, going to take it 3 wide into 1. It isn't going to work. 51 still down on the bottom. The 83 on the top. The 12 thinks the better of it. Going to fall on behind on the 51's bumper and slide through the turn.
Oh, Heath Smith just gets hooked on the bumper of the 51 car. Now, when the 51 kind of gets defensive down the straightaway, you enter the corner so low that you lose all that time in the center. And so the 12 car of Heath Smith, who, by the way, is having a great having a great comeback. The 12 car is going to have to time that to where he can catch him at the right time in the center as the 12 of Heath Smith gets below the 51, and the 51 gives him the lane, and the Heath Smith, the 12, back to the lead. But now he's under pressure. The 20 of Osborne, who pitted a couple of cautions ago, actually somehow made his way through all that traffic, and now the battle is on for the lead between the 20 and the 12.
The 12 pulling kind of a crossover move on the 51. That's going to move the 51 back to third, but the battle is on up in front as the 12 puts the bumper to the 20 machine, pushes him up the track, the 12 on the inside. As we put 136 laps in the books, we are definitely on the short side of things here at Richmond Speedway, and this is going to, if this stuff keeps up, this is going to be a hell of a finish all the way to the checkered flag here. The 51 trying to get back what he lost, slips and slides through turns 2, down the backstretch we go into turns 3 and 4. The 51 trying to make up some time and catch up. That's Nicholas Doucette in that 51 machine. The 35 now putting the pressure on the 51 down the front stretch into turn 1.
Yeah, as we have a caution on the racetrack, it's on the front stretch actually. The 32 is around Ryan Borge, I believe, and didn't see what started it. Actually, I believe what started it was contact with the 18 through the center of 3 and 4. So another wreck there. Contact with Jay Anderson triggers the 32 going around on the front stretch. So we have a caution here. We will restart with about 9 laps to go. And so these drivers, if someone's coming down pit road, it's going to be someone towards the tail end of the lead lap or someone with a massive amount of damage who needs to get that repaired. But incredible comeback by both Heath Smith, who was struggling in the middle of the race, and the number 20, Austin Osborne. I never thought that he would, you heard me questioning it, that I wasn't sure if he'd be able to get back into the lead battle, and he sure as heck proved me wrong. So we have a great battle for the win brewing, as that was an incredible battle for the lead.
And it was Joel Wood, a secondary hit on the 32 machine up here on the front stretch. Joel Wood, the 79 machine, just absolutely broadsides the 32 and does incredible damage to the driver's side of that number 32 car. But I believe this is caution number 10 if my count is right. So, hey, this is short track racing. Welcome to Richmond.
Yeah, absolutely. The 83 was actually, we saw the 83 of Vanistal up there, who was lost a lot of track position in a 3-wide battle. Austin Osborne a few laps ago got third by making a 3-wide move, and the 83 and the 32 made a lot of contact through it all. The 32 eventually ending up getting wrecked in that position right there. But most everybody stayed out. The top 10 stayed out, and Galen Gibbons stayed out, who was not in the top 10. But a lot of these guys just looking to get to this finish at this point. But what an incredible race for the lead that we have seen, as you don't know what's going to happen. Anything can happen. These drivers have not been afraid to lay the bumper to each other, as we saw the bumper come from pretty much everybody in the top 10 at this point.
I'll tell you what, watching the 12 machine work the 51 over, the reason, the way the 12 got the lead from the 51, you talked about experience versus inexperience here. And I'll tell you what, no discredit to the 11-year-old Nicholas Doucette driving that 51 machine, but the 12 of Heath Smith, he knew exactly what was going on. As the 51 started to put the block going down the backstretch, he moved low to cut the 12 off, and of course has to move high, thinking the 12 is going to try to get to the upside. Well, when that happened, the 12 stayed on the bottom and came right down across and was able to get the lead from the 51. So that's just experience talking there. The 51 giving it up. But Nicholas Doucette will restart in third position here. He's got Austin Osborne out in front of him in that 20 machine. So this ain't over yet, Cowboy. With 142 in the books, we've got about 8 to go. It'll probably be about 9 to go, or 7 to go when we get this thing restarted. Might be even less than that. Should be seeing the lights go off on the pace car next time around.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I just heard we're under 2 to go right now as far as the pacing. And so the pace car lights go on at 143. We'll restart on 144, which is 7 laps, or excuse me, it's going to be 7 laps to go. And be interesting to see just how a lot of these guys attack this restart. We haven't seen Heath Smith lead a restart since early in the race. But I tell you, early in this race, Heath Smith was amazing on restarts, and he pulled out to early leads. However, he's at a little bit of a tire disadvantage to the 20 of Austin Osborne, which is good if you're Austin, but they've both got better tires than the 51 of Nicholas Doucette to my knowledge. But a lot of guys up here who are all hungry, and this very well could be the last restart. If we go 2 laps green, then the next flag to fall would end the race, whether it would be a checkered flag or the caution flag. But working down the backstretch, these guys are doubled up. Heath Smith will lead them down to the green flag once the pace car turns in.
It was a 2-tire stop for the 51 back around lap 116, 120, somewhere in there, I believe. So two fresh ones on the left side, but we get the green flag again here, the 20 up on the outside, and Heath Smith just jumps off to the start, gets a huge lead, goes right to the top of the wall, going to angle it down, diamond that turn off into turn 2 here. Down the backstretch we go with the 51 chasing him down. The 51 staying in the middle lane here. Austin Osborne and the 20 side by side with the 51. 3 and 4 coming down the front stretch. The 20 not giving up an inch, staying in the throttle all the way through the turn. The 51 still on the bottom here. The 20 is going to gives a bumper to the 51. The 51 slides up the track. That's going to put the 20 on the inside for the run down the backstretch.
Yeah, that right there is frustration from Austin Osborne. He was not liking how the 51 is running these straightaways to my as far as I could tell. But that
one spinner around.
Yeah, car
we got one around.
The grass. I'm not sure if that's going to bring out the caution or not. It appears that he got it going, and he was low enough on the track that the officials kept the race green, which is good news because the caution likely would have ended the race as they had just crossed the start-finish line. But Heath Smith, that bought him some time with the 20 and the 51 battling. The 12 of Heath Smith jumped out to a lead, and this might be too much of a lead for the 20 of Osborne to make up. So they cross the line. It is 4 laps to go, and Austin Osborne solidifying his second position, doing all he can to try to catch Heath Smith, but it might be a little bit too little too late, but actually he's noticeably gaining, so it could be on from here.
Oh, and that's the 88 there on the front stretch there as the 35 puts the bumper to the 51. The 51 gets moved up the track as well as Nathan Sedlak just kind of slams into the 51, moves him up. The 35 now being pressured again by the 51. So this ain't over yet, Cowboy. Tempers flare at Richmond here tonight. Heath Smith out to a comfortable lead, about a half a second over Osborne. Nathan Sedlak in third in the 35 machine. 148 laps. We got 1 more to go. Actually, 2 more to go when they come by.
Yeah, the 32's around again. That's going to be the caution that ends this race. And Heath Smith, as long as he can complete the final laps, will be the winner. Kevin Borge around in the 32. He made, coming out of turn number 4, the 67 of Ben Manning. Kevin Manning is a different Manning, but Ben Manning got a little loose out of turn 4, came down into the 32. That sent the 32 around, and that ends the race. Heath Smith will be your winner as long as he can complete this lap. They tuck in behind the pace car. And I tell you, Austin Osborne with the fresher tires was able to get back up to second place. But it looks like it was Heath's race, even if it remained green. It was just a little bit too much space there after the 20 was caught battling the 51. And the 35 of Nathan Sedlak, solid all race, ends up with a podium finish.
And Nathan Sedlak putting the chrome horn to the 51. Nicholas Doucette, he'll be finishing 4th tonight. No podium finish, but I'll tell you what an effort the driver of that number 51 put in here at Richmond. Michael Vanisall, he'll finish in the top 5. Ben Manning, looks like he'll finish in 6th. 7th will go to Mark Montanari, setup analyzer guru. Michael Johnson with a terrific run, the 78 machine in 8th. Dale Smalley, your second place in points, he'll finish in 9th position. Galen Gidman will finish 10th. And our points leader, Dallas Markle in the 48, probably not, I don't know that late models are his most comfortable ride, but Dallas Markle looks like he'll be finishing 15th tonight here at Richmond. So I tell you what, this is short track racing. I mean, if you came to Richmond expecting to see something different, hey, welcome to the club, Cowboy. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of contact on the cool down lap. Apparently the 32 has not quite cooled down yet on this cool down lap as the 32 gets into the 67. I think I liked my joke a little too much. That was not that funny, but the 32 showing his displeasure with the 67, and cooler heads prevail a little bit. They're not going over the line with it too much right now. But Heath Smith our pole sitter, I was pretty sure that he was going to have a lot of trouble coming back, but he takes the victory here. The pole sitter makes it happen. I think he struggled in that middle portion of the race. We'll have to see if he made any adjustments throughout this race, but victorious tonight for Gale Force Racing.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and take a commercial break, and when we come back, your post-race show from Richmond Speedway with Cora, Championship Online Racing Association. So don't wander off, cowboy. We'll be right back with your top three.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Travis, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 and the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
And welcome back to Richmond Speedway here tonight with Championship Online Racing Association short track style here with the late models. And I'll tell you what, we're going to start off with our third place finisher here tonight, Nathan Sedlak in the 35 machine. He started out in 15th, worked himself all the way to the front. I'll tell you what, cowboy, the last 20 laps of this race was typical short track racing. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely pretty crazy coming up through there. Good race by all the guys and everything. It gets a little rough here. Everybody's pretty quick. We've had a good week of practice, and everybody's done a lot of work, so everybody was ready to get to the front. But yeah, last 20 laps were crazy.
Now the chrome horn to the 51, was that experience talking, showing, giving some lessons to the younger crowd here?
I don't know if I put a bumper to them. Some other guys in front of them were, had to get them up out of the way. You got to get guys uprooted, and there's some guys, like I said, worked hard all week, and they're ready to go to the front, had good cars. So it's tough when a guy wants to ride around a low line like that, but youngster's okay, and we'll work on him.
Hey, you know what? The young man can drive like none other, but I'll tell you what, I think he's here to learn as well. So, hey, no better to learn from guys like Nathan Sedlak and the guys here at Cora. Who makes it happen for you there, Nathan?
Just Fast Forward Racing. Me and a couple guys, we work hard, and Galen and Ben Manning really helped me out a lot. They're helping me come along. I'm still rather new at all this, so come along quite nicely though.
All right, outstanding. Congratulations on a third place podium finish here at Richmond. I'm going to throw it on up the line here a little bit. I believe Harrison has caught up with our second place finisher here tonight, Austin Osborne.
Yeah, I'm here with Austin after a strong run, and my first question would have to be about the pit strategy. Austin, you came in with somewhere around 40 to go, somewhere in that neighborhood. I don't quite remember, but giving up track position, you had me worried. How worried were you that if you'd be able to catch back up to the lead pack?
I didn't know that I was going to be able to. I had some guys behind me in TeamSpeak say that they were going to pit, and we were the top 3 at the time. So I figured if us 3 went, everybody'd come behind us. But ended up coming out of the pits 9th, and I knew it was going to be chaos. So they wrecked in front of me, and it worked out. I got up there to the front, and they were blocking like crazy, and I got to the lead inside of them with them running me all the way to the yellow line. And as soon as I got around them, I went to the top and got punted out of the way, fell back to 2nd, and finished there.
Yeah, I guess it makes all the sense in the world that the lead battle came down to you and Heath Smith. Heath looked really strong early on in the race, and then you were very dominant for that middle portion where I thought, oh, there's nobody who could beat Austin Osborne, but obviously having to come from 9th or 10th in the final laps there. But I think this is actually your first start in this series, and I know these guys have a lot of different car and track combinations. Are there any races in the future that you're looking to run here at Championship Online Racing Association?
I'll have to look into it. I honestly have never heard of the series, and I went into a hosted room this week and it happened to be a qualifier for this race, and I won that. So I'll check into it. I haven't really looked at the schedule or anything, but I'm sure I'll come back.
Yeah, it definitely changes every week. I think the late model will be running Charlotte, actually, and they already ran Bristol with the late model, but a lot of unique different combinations. But hey, a 2nd place finish for your debut race with these guys. It's a nice run, and they certainly knew you were here. So are there anyone you would like to thank after tonight's strong run?
I'd like to thank Trey Jarrow. He actually gave me the setup at Charlotte Legends Oval a couple weeks ago, and I just made some tweaks to it, and it worked for me tonight.
And that's tonight's 2nd place finisher, Austin Osborne. I believe JD has caught up with the winner of the race, Heath Smith.
Heath Smith picking up the trophy and the check for the win here tonight with Cora Sunday Money Series at Richmond. Heath Smith, starting out on the pole, then you get set back to about the middle, back end of the track, and have to work your way up front. What was that like?
It was pretty rough avoiding some of the accidents, and I actually got collected in one pretty big one, but fortunately they had a reset. And then later on in the run, there was a lot of blocking going on, so you just had to be real smart. You had to manage your tires a little bit. Everybody quit pitting with about 35 to go, so you just had to kind of manage yourself and try to get 1 or 2 positions to restart there.
Now, I understand you're coming into Richmond and the late models here with a little bit of real-life experience?
Not actually driving, but as far as working on late models, I've done it for several years on a late model team.
Well, hey, it always helps to be around them, too. You pick up pointers from, the real deal out there. But, talk about the pit stop strategy here tonight. Anything in particular that helped you out the best, working back up through the field, or was it just pretty much luck of the draw?
Yes, sir. I had a great setup for low fuel. So I was trying to manage my pit strategy to keep fueling it till later in the run, and then I was going to get fresh tires when I had about 7 or 8 gallons in the car, and I was going to be good to go. So that's why I pitted several times there at the start, just to keep the fuel in it where I would run it down to the right amount there for the end of the run.
Coming to the race with a strategy in mind, I'll tell you what, it played out from the front to the back to the front again. Heath Smith picking up the trophy and the cash here at Richmond tonight. Who makes it happen for you, Heath?
I got to thank Gale Force Sim Racing. Peter Fisher over there does a great job on the late model setups, and it paid off tonight.
Outstanding. And I'll tell you what, Harrison, short track here tonight, late models, what the audience witnessed is nothing less than typical short track racing. No matter where you go across the United States at pretty much any given track. But 150 laps later, Heath Smith, Austin Osborne, an outstanding finish for him. Nathan Sedlak in third, and 11-year-old Nicholas Doucette in that 51 machine. I'll tell you what, the young man drove his heart out tonight, but missed the podium finish.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nathan Sedlak, looking at him, he was actually looking at the guys in the top 10 in points. He ran the best out of all of them, so it was a great points day for Nathan. And it was definitely typical Richmond. We got a couple of long runs, but even in those long runs, you could find a lot of very physical racing going on throughout the field, especially in the middle of the pack. and certainly the two best cars in the field ended up racing for the victory right at the end. So an entertaining show.
Absolutely. And once again, Cora, Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series. And they qualify 3 nights a week for a shot at the Sunday money. You pay an entry fee, and then a percentage of the fees go up for grabs on Sunday nights during the Sunday Money Series. You can win a trip to the bank, cowboy. You can visit them at their new website, cora-racing.com. That's going to do it from us at ETV Live here at Richmond Speedway. But hey, check out the calendar over at etv-eplay.net. A whole lot more racing coming your way tomorrow night. Full Throttle Cup Series from I believe we're back at Dover again with the Real Sim Racing League. And then, of course, Tuesday night, you don't want to miss Nicholas Doucette, our guest on the Rewind BS and Backtalk radio show at 9 o'clock. So a whole lot more coming your way on ETV Live. But for all of us up here in the booth, Harrison, my partner up here, Laura downstairs in the trailer pushing the buttons, that'll do it from us here at Richmond. And we'll catch you next time.
Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV Live Sports Radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.